Okay, if you couldn't tell, I was preparing to make some food, but instead, I'm about to play plumber because, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, our food disposal is leaking. So, right now, I'm just trying to get everything out of here. Luckily, it seems like most of the water has been trapped in this little storage this little storage basket that we have. Yeah, thankfully the first like maybe inch of the bottom of the basket doesn't have any holes, so that's the only way it was able to trap this water. But yeah, I'm gonna move everything else out of the way so I can like fully assess the damage. Okay, let's get this. I'm just gonna place this stuff on my kitchen mats because I can always just toss those into the wash. I don't want to move this center basket yet because it's holding a lot of water. That's also why I brought the mop bucket up here. I'm glad that I'm somebody that loves to store things in baskets because it makes it so much easier to get stuff out of here. Now that it's clean, at least in my experience, so there's only been 2 other times in my life that I've had an issue with a dishwasher. And the one time that I've experienced a dishwasher leaking, we were renting a place and they took care of that issue. So all I know is that the other time I had an issue was at my mom's place in South Carolina and it couldn't be fixed. We had to get a whole new dishwasher and that wasn't cheap. On it, it says it has a 6-year limited warranty, but I wouldn't even know how to find that. Okay, so before I touch this, this was like this, and this was lower. So I don't know if that could be the issue because these screws are supposed to be what's keeping that plate up. But I don't think that's where it's leaking from. So I am gonna fix it because these should be more screwed in. But yeah, I'm still unsure of what the actual bigger problem is. I hope that I can fix it simply like this. We don't have to worry about hiring someone to fix this if it's even fixable or replace it, which would honestly be the worst case scenario, but hey, there could be worse things going on, so it's really not that big of a deal. It's just a minor inconvenience. If you wonder why I keep taking my hands down, it's because this stuff is wet, so it's hard to grip. I'm gonna see if I can get a screwdriver to get into this side. Okay, I have a screwdriver, but it's unhelpful because of the angle of this thing. Honestly, what would probably be better is maybe a pair of pliers. Okay, these are wire cutters, not pliers, but I can't find pliers, and I don't feel like continuing to look for pliers, so. I don't even know if this is turning. Okay, I'm still seeing water drip, but at least I think, oh God, there's another one in the back. Oh, but this, well, the one in the back seems tight already. But yeah, I'm still seeing water drip. I don't know if that's residual water that's been sitting here or if the problem that was the problem. It's still a problem. But there's also this silver part. You can see it on this side, but it's leaning in, and it's not supposed to. It's just a plastic thing, but I'm trying to see if I can kind of pop it back up. I don't even know anymore. I'm winging it at this point. Huh. Well, I got that thing to move out the way, which is cool. Oh. Okay. Right now I don't see any active leaking, but that could change once the water is on. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm gonna leave it running while the food disposal is off, and then I'm going to, oh, I saw a drip. So I'm seeing it drip from the bottom, but not the top. I'm gonna turn it on and see what happens. And of course, it sounds like there's something in the food disposal that's not supposed to be there. Well, it's not leaking from the top. I'm not feeling any new water there. I'm just trying to give this a good wipe down, just so I can ensure that if I feel water, it's not from water that's been sitting. It is leaking from this spot on the bottom of it, and that, I don't know what to do about that. Only thing I can think of is like putting silicone there or something. It was like a patch job. But all I do know is that the clock is ticking and I want to cook. So I feel like leaving this at this point and letting my husband figure out the rest of it. Because I'm hungry and I want to cook. But it definitely is steadily leaking from the bottom. I can't get that to fully go back on, but compared to what the actual issue is, that's trivial, so I don't really care. You know what's crazy? I was at Dollar General and I saw super glue and I didn't pick it up. I could use silicone, but I don't want to open a whole tube of silicone just to use for that one thing. For now, I want to move on. I feel stagnant, so I'm gonna move on by cleaning like around the area that's dripping, and maybe not putting the stuff back in, but putting them to the side or something, because I really want to cook. I found this recipe, and I'm hungry, and it's almost 1 o'clock, and all I've had today are jerk flavored plantain chips. So yeah, I almost want to get like let's do that. All right, so that's the end of that for now. It was better than where it started, so there's that. All right, y'all. Hey, now that the crisis has been mostly averted, it's time to start cooking. But before we do that, hello, my name is Samaya. This is my channel, Sunny Archives by Samaya. Thanks for sticking around if you've been here before. If you haven't been here, welcome. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into this video. So today, I want to try this recipe that I saved on Pinterest. I love ravioli. I enjoy soup. I love creamy dishes, and this one just sounded, why am I struggling? This one just sounded and looks very yummy. I'll put the link to the original recipe down below. I'm not really tweaking much. It calls for Italian sausage. I don't eat pork. I switched that out for chicken, Italian style chicken sausage. So other than that, I don't think there's really anything else I'm tweaking, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so for this recipe, for this ravioli soup, Tuscan creamy goodness or whatever, these are the ingredients we have for today. So for dairy, we're going to be using heavy whipping cream, Parmesan cheese, and I guess if you want to consider the ravioli, we'll be using that as well. I have 2 packets of this truffle ravioli, but it calls for 20 ounces for this recipe, so I'm probably going to throw in an extra packet of ravioli. It won't be the truffle one. It'll be, I think I got this like goat cheese ravioli or whatever. So if I add that in, just consider that. For protein, other than the ravioli, we have our chicken sausage. So I picked up 2 different types of Italian style chicken sausage. I have sweet Italian style and then I have spicy Italian style. I actually didn't pick up enough chicken sausage. I thought 2 packets would be enough, and I'm sure it'll be fine. The recipe calls for 28 ounces, I want to say, but we'll be all right. Chicken bone broth, and then I have a little bit of beef bone broth, and I'm just going to use the rest of that. And then I have an onion and fresh basil for our produce. For kind of miscellaneous, I have these sun-dried tomatoes. And then for our seasonings, I don't have Italian seasoning, so there's probably much more seasonings here than you'll actually have to use if you follow the recipe. But I have smoked paprika, pizza seasoning, thyme, sage, rosemary, black pepper, salt, basil leaves, and crushed red pepper for a little bit of spice. And then, oh, I forgot to mention that I also have baby spinach. So I'm pretty sure these are all the ingredients that I need. If not, we're just gonna have to do what it do. I have my laptop here so that I can follow the recipe. Since I have chicken sausage, I'm pretty sure these are not in a casing like regular pork sausage would be. So I'm just gonna chop it finely up, because for the original recipe, they talk about removing the casing of the pork sausage and kind of like breaking it up in the pan. And while I'm chopping this up, I'm gonna heat up some olive oil in my Dutch oven. I don't know if you want to call that like 2 to 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna heat that up, keep that on low, get into this sausage. Yeah, so like I was saying, because this is chicken sausage, this doesn't have like a casing like normal sausage would have. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had non-pork sausages that do have a casing. Like I've had turkey sausage before that had a casing, but more often than not, if it's not pork sausage, it normally doesn't have a casing. So, at least in my experience. Raise this heat a little bit. While that's browning, I'm gonna go ahead and dice up some onion. I chose to use a sweet onion today. I don't often use sweet onions, but I figured it would be good with this meal. So cutting used to be my favorite part of cooking, but I think it just depends on the setting. have our onions. I just added in the onion. I'm about to add in some garlic. I like garlic, so I always put in more than a recipe calls for. Once I stir this in, I'm going to cover it and let it cook for a little bit so that the onions can soften. And then we'll add in the seasonings. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next step because I don't mind my onions still having a little bit of texture, and it's gonna keep cooking anyways as we add the rest of our stuff. So let's move on with this seasoning. Just gonna add a little bit of everything. I'm not measuring. Like I said, I'm gonna add the link to the actual recipe so you guys know what exactly to put in there if you care to measure. So that was just some pizza seasoning. No, I don't know what's in it, but to me, pizza and Italian seasoning must be quite similar. So next I'm going in with some basil. I love basil. Going with some thyme. Going in with some sage. A little bit more. Okay. I'm gonna hold off on the crushed red pepper because we did use spicy sausage in there, so just a little bit of rosemary, smoked paprika, and let's go ahead and give this a stir. It smells so good already. Oh my goodness. Gonna cover that and let it sit for a couple minutes, let those seasonings kind of marinate, and then we'll come back. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes. Oh, this smells so good. Honestly, I could probably eat this mixture by itself. Okay, so I had to charge my phone, which means I had to unplug my mic, so the quality is gonna be different. But anyways, we are about to add in our liquids, which is going to be our broth and then our heavy cream. So like I said, I'm kind of doing a half and half. I did only have a little bit of beef broth left in here, but I went ahead and measured out more. So for this recipe, I did it ×2, so the ×1 is obviously not going to be as much, but it's going to be 8 cups of broth total. So I'm going to do 4 of beef and then 4 of chicken. And it's both bone, well, the beef broth, the leftover of this was bone broth, but the beef broth that I add to this was just regular broth, but the chicken is chicken bone broth. And after we add these, we're gonna let it come to a boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise the heat. And then once it comes to a boil, we bring it down to a simmer, and then we add our heavy cream. And it's going to be 2 cups of heavy cream, which is perfect because this little carton from Trader Joe's is exactly 2 cups. So we're gonna reduce this heat. I put it as low as it can go. Let it calm down a little bit. We're gonna add in our heavy cream and simmer that for a bit as well with the cover off. I'm gonna raise the heat just a little bit. mom is cooking.
Wait. Mommy.
Yeah, baby. All right, y'all. So we finally have our finished product. This probably took me like, I think it took me at least 2 hours to make, not gonna lie. I put some fresh basil on top. And yeah, let's dig in. If you can hear my screaming toddler in the background, it is what it is. Anyways, let's dig into this. Oh, this looks so good. I've never made anything like this before. Usually when I make pasta, it's in a thicker sauce. But yeah, let's try that. I've always seen things that are like lasagna soup or something like that, and they always interest me. So I'm excited to see how this one tastes. The base with like the sausage and the actual like soup mixture is good. So this one, this circular ravioli, is the goat cheese and caramelized onion one. I love goat cheese. Goat cheese is kind of pungent, so if you're not a fan of it, obviously don't get that type of ravioli. The recipe actually calls for plain cheese ravioli, but why would I get plain cheese ravioli when I can get truffle ravioli and goat cheese caramelized onion ravioli? You see what I'm saying? But you do you. This one is the truffle one, the triangle one. Y'all, this is good. And with the fresh basil, it'll probably be even better if it was hot, but I was trying to clean up a little bit before I got comfortable and started eating. And then I gave Seth a bowl before I started, you know, doing all my other extra stuff. So, it's not like it's cold, it's just not piping hot off the stove. But anyways, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm about to inhale this bowl, and after that I might make some cinnamon rolls. We'll see how I feel about it. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have a sunny day wherever you are. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye. I think I might add some chili crunch to this, honestly.